So, are you a good girl or a good boy? I hope you are. Otherwise, get out of here. We don't want any rebels. Joking. But today it's going to be about are you waiting for permission to break free, do what you want? Are you still stuck in those ties of others' expectations because you don't want to rock the boat too much? So, hi, my name is Elena Gomez Rodriguez. I'm a mental fitness coach, trauma informed. So, there's a little bit of that background as well. And I help super moms have it all: awesome family, successful career, time for what they love without burning out, because that's where the hook is usually. And I grew up being a good girl. So I feel like I can talk about this topic a bit. And I got inspired to bring this in today because I've been onboarding some new clients in the last days. And by coincidence, well, as if I believed in coincidences, but I always ask, like, how did you get attracted to me, to working with me? Because there are so many other coaches and people who work with super moms and super women. And they all told me by coincidence that it was my buzz cut video. And like, how do you stop caring about others' expectations that they have for you? So I realized, like, okay, maybe we have to have this conversation again because it is resonating with people and it is important to talk about it. So here we are today. So have you been always a good girl or a good boy? And my question is, because this will be always, like, I always ask these questions that are not always comfortable. So play along with me, please, so that you get the most value out of this. And it's not a waste of your super precious time, because I know how busy you are. What permission are you waiting for, and from whom? Like, what is one thing that you are complaining about to yourself internally or to others, whomever wants to hear about it and is not tired of it yet, about what you'd love to have experienced, like, differently, but you can't because of whatever is going on the outside? What is it? What would you love to have differently, but you feel you can't because others expect you not to do it, or to do it in that way that you've been doing it so far, but that's not what you want? What is it? Identify. And we are going to dive in by talking about a story that I still remember after almost 20 years, from my first self-awareness leadership training, Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Have you done it? If not, it's a classic. And I still, after almost 20 years, I remember this story. That's how powerful it is. So my apologies. I'm probably not going to share it in exactly the same way. And I don't even know if Stephen Covey was the author. But this is classics. And this was my boom light bulb moment, even 20 years after now. So you'll understand when I tell you. The elephant story. So once upon a time, there was a group of people who worked with a group of elephants. So they used them to work, like for work, to carry and pull and plug some like heavy load. And during the night, they put a chain on their leg and they like hammered a peg in the ground. And so then there was this new guy who came to work with the group as well. And so they were teaching him how to do the job. And he walked around in the evening and he saw these elephants. And he looked at one of those, like the babies, the little ones. They had a heavy chain around their leg and it was like anchored by a peg, by something in the ground that held it there. And he was like, okay, this makes sense. But when I look at the old ones, the old, big, powerful, strong elephants, like they have the same chain and the peg, and it looks ridiculous because they're like 20 times as big and strong. Like, how come they don't? What is going on here, guys? Like, what am I missing? Like, how come they don't run away, or like you don't use a stronger chain? Like, you're not afraid they are going to break free and run? And the guy's explaining the job to him, said, like, look, what do you see? What is the proof? Like the little elephants, yeah, they try. They are pulling on that chain and they're trying and they keep trying, but because it doesn't work, they just eventually stop at some point. They stop pulling on that chain and they take it as, okay, well, that's what it is. I'm chained, and they grow up knowing this. that this chain will not give in and that they are grounded for the night. So they stop trying. So then even the old, powerful, like huge, heavy, strong elephants, they stay put. They don't even try anymore. Because if they would try, they would like within 3 seconds they would be gone. But they don't try. So why am I sharing this story? This was my realization, and this is going back to my hair story. Because it's relevant in a way that it's visible, but it's just the tip of the iceberg of what was going on inside of me. And that was a moment when I realized I always wanted to have a long hair, and I had it. I couldn't have it as a child, so I wanted to have it as an adult. I ticked off the box, but I then kept it long because I thought, especially since I moved from physical coaching to online coaching, thank you, COVID, I was very insecure of how I looked and how I became visible because I'm an introvert. And I was like, my hair is part of my image and how I look like. And I thought in my head, well, that's how it's going to be for the next, I don't know how long. I need to look presentable, right? Because otherwise people will not like me. They will run away because they will think I'm not professional. But my next dream, after I ticked off that box, like having long hair, I knew how much work it was and I was tired of it. So my next dream was like a buzz cut. But I thought, well, because of the work I do and like my normal life here, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, like I cannot do it to them either, buzz my head just like this. So I'm probably going to wait like until I'm super old and then people don't care anyways. Like when you're old and wise, you stop caring that much. So maybe when I'm 80, I'm going to shave my head and I'll be a yoga teacher by then anyways, and who cares? And then I actually realized, like, what? What are those thoughts? Like, I'm going to turn 40 in a couple of months. And that means that I need to wait another, like the same amount of time, another 40 years before I feel ready to do what I want. I'm going to spend the next 40 years again doing what others expect from me just because I'm afraid to do something what I want. That's as little or as big as shaving my head. How ridiculous that is. And I started going through all my limiting beliefs, like basically inspecting my chain on my leg, like if it's still there, because I thought when I had that idea in my head that I have to wait until I'm really old and then I will not care, I started expecting that belief, which was basically that chain on my leg. And I was like, is it still there? How strong is it? Like, is it really true that people will stop loving me and respecting me just because I shave my head? No. Okay, boom. That chain cracked. Another chain. Is it true that my daughter will freak out and like want to shave her head as well? Well, if that is true, then so what? Like if she would want to shave her head, so what? She has beautiful curls, but if she decides to shave her head one day, great. Is it true that my husband would stop loving me? Like I did check with him in advance, but he was a little bit insecure. Like, why is this coming now? What's going on with you? But he said, okay, well, if that's really what you want to do, well, all right, I can't really stop you. So, boom, that chain gone. Is it true that my clients would stop working with me because I shaved my head? Like, no. On the opposite, they loved it because they love that courage and they love that inspiration of what's possible once you start breaking free from those expectations that you actually keep yourself stuck with. They are not really there anymore. So, long stories. Actually, I said, well, I'll share one story. I shared two: elephant in my hair. But what does that stir in you as you keep listening to me? What are those chains that you think you have? Those beliefs, those needs for approval, those expectations that you think others have on you, but it's primarily you. It's primarily you wanted to make sure that you feel good enough about yourself, that you will not have as many doubts, that you will feel confident and competent and that like you know what you're doing. But it's that chain. So what is your chain about? And is it really still there? Check. Is it really true? And what's the price you're paying for it? So even if you tell me there's still something that is physically like you feel there is still the attachment that you cannot get rid of, then have a look at the price. What price are you paying for it? And I'll share one more story. I hope it helps somebody. I used to walk around after I became a mom, and I was always a workaholic, and I didn't have enough time to do everything that I wanted, like hyperachiever. I wanted to be good and having fun with so many little projects, personal and professional. Always working and doing something, always busy. But after I became a mom, it was even worse because then I put my family first and myself last. And I was walking around with the story that I can't, that I don't have enough time for myself, that there's no way I can take even 5 minutes for myself. And that's the story I kept telling to myself and I kept telling to others. Poor me, expat mom, no family to help, starting to run a business, having a little toddler at home, nobody to help, my husband busy with his work. So if whatever, can I say shit in LinkedIn? Whatever shit goes down the drain, like it always falls down on me. Like I'm the one who needs to pick up the bill for everything. Like whatever unexpected, uncontrollable event happens, it's me who needs to stop doing everything and run there and save the day. Poor me. I just have no time for myself and for what I love. So I was a sleepless, exhausted, burned out zombie, and it had an impact on everybody around me. Now, the moment I realized it was me and those were my chains, I was the elephant who was stuck on my own self pity, and no judgment there. I'm really sharing like this is me. I'm not saying this is you. No way. I dare you to see any similarities with what I'm sharing. But the moment I realized that actually my story is the thing that's preventing me from finding ways how to take care of myself, like that's where it started changing. Nothing else changed in my outside world. It was still the same situation. I still had little help and like a laundry long list of things to do. But since I shift that perspective, I started finding time. Like we just bought a piano because I realized that was one of my childhood and teenage years passions. And it was something that always like it gave me energy, it lit me up. So we just bought a piano, and instead of complaining that I don't have time to play, I started playing together with my daughter. So it's part of our bedtime routine now. We do a little jam session. One of us plays guitar, ukulele, the other one plays piano, and we are singing whatever. Usually it's a made up song of my daughter. And we are both having fun. And it's a great way how I not only do something that I love, so I don't have to like put myself last, because we built it in our routine. We built it in our evening. That's something that we do almost every day now. But it's also my time of connecting with my daughter, so I can tick off the box like being a great mom too, because it's a one-on-one. It's just something the two of us do, and it makes us both feel great. And I don't have to feel guilty or like that I'm carving out selfishly time for myself. Like I just managed to find a way how to do it with her. So what are some ways how you can build in what you want in your day that wouldn't actually cost you that much effort? It's right there in front of your nose. You just haven't seen it because you have those elephant chains on your leg. So that's my invitation for you today. I would love to hear from you if you've been listening and if you're thinking like, okay, this message was meant for me today, and it's not a coincidence that I found it and watched it today, because this is exactly what I needed to hear today. So if that's you, and if that's your story, then I'd love to hear from you. So let me know. This is my email address, and I still have, I think, 1 or 2 slots free for individual coaching. So if you resonate with my energy, with my stories, and with my way of working a little bit, like challenging, kicking butts, but also nurturing at the same time. If that's what you feel like you would need right now, then let me know. This is the link to book a consultation with me. We can do a mini coaching session within those 30 minutes because, yes, it is possible to be fast and effective. And I'm going to share that link also in the comments so that you can just click. Okay. So I'd love to hear from you because this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm washing my dirty laundry publicly. This is why I'm overcoming my introvert insecurities because I know it helps. I know there's somebody who's listening right now who needed to hear that message. So if it was you, let me know. I'd love to hear about that. I wish you a great weekend, and I wish you great introspection about what your chains might be that are no longer actually that tight anymore. So have a great time with that. Take care. See you next time. Bye.